Alright, cool boys. In this video, I'm going to be speaking about why money without wisdom equals rented riches. And I'm going to break it down exactly as to why I said what I said. This video is for you if you're, you might be working a 9-to-5 job right now. You're really looking and aiming to be able to create an online income, but you don't exactly know how, when it will come. Why am I not making more money yet? You're just so focused on the external in terms of how much money you're making. And I'm here to tell you and let you know that money's the least of your problems, bro. If you don't have the correct internal belief system, nervous system, consciousness, right? If you're not thinking in the right way, no matter how much money you're able to acquire in the physical realm in terms of what you tangibly have to show, materialistic possessions, bro, you're always just going to end up reverting back to the same position you've been in life because your internal time clock has not changed. And I'm going to talk to you about that more in this video. So let's get into it, man. You don't need more money, you need more wisdom. What I'm trying to say when I say that you don't need more money and you need more wisdom is simply just an example to show that most people only look at life from an external factor. People only look at things in terms of the third dimensional realm. They look at, oh, this guy's living his life, or this guy's on a business class flight, or this guy's in Bali, or this guy's doing this, or this guy's making 7K in a week, whatever it could be, right? But those same people that you look to and aspire to be like based around their material possessions only, you don't ever look towards them to see what type of internal setup do they have. To what degree of self-belief does this person have that I am yet to attain, which is the reason why they're able to actually acquire the physical possessions in the first place. And I'm here struggling in my 9-to-5 job. You don't need more money, you need more wisdom. You need more knowledge about the laws of the universe. You need more knowledge around metaphysics. You need more knowledge to build a better relationship with God. You need more knowledge around how to become a better person in terms of actually being congruent and consistent with the thoughts that come into your conscious mind and the actual actions that you take on a day-to-day basis. Money is a lagging indicator. I want you to really understand what I'm saying. The money that you're looking for, that peas that you want to come into the bank account, is a lagging indicator that will come as a direct result after you've done the mental work first. So let's look at me, because I always like to bring these type of videos inward to what have I actually done. I've went from working a 9-to-5 job, right, and directly relying on a manager to pay me £2,412 on the 24th of every single month, right? I did that for about 1.5 to 2 years. Then I saved up some money and went over to Thailand, right? I had 5K saved up, 4 to 5K British saved up. Then I went broke in Thailand. I was down to like less than £1,000, right? And I had rent to pay, all this type of stuff. Then I started to make money bit by bit, like I made 1K a month. Then I increased my income to 2K a month. Then I went back down to 1K, right? And it's been a bit of a climb up until like maybe 9 months ago when I built a business, right? And really was able to hammer down into one skill. And now I'm doing multi-5-figure months in business. And I have an 80% profit margin in my business. Aside from that, and the tangible side of things, this video is not about money. We have to look at, isn't it quite interesting to look at the correlation between how much money I was making at any given stage in my life and how much congruency, number one, I had in my life, right? Because I can tell you for a fact now that when I got to Thailand and I blew all of my money, basically, it was because I didn't have the wisdom to be able to sustain what it was like making money abroad or living fully independently, not having a parent, not having anyone to tell you what to do, when to do it. So naturally, I'm going to go and overindulge and party and drink and indulge in too much women and just be a very lack of disciplined individual, which as a direct result from the physical standpoint is the reason why I blew so much money. And then I was back to square one again, just in Bangkok instead of in London. You don't need more money, bro. You need more wisdom first. Like I said a few moments ago, money is a lagging indicator and you will only receive the money after you've changed your internal wiring first. For me to go from working a job that was paying me £2,000 a month to me being able to make £5,000 in a 60-minute phone call, that's not just because, oh, he did this and did that and he made more money, bish, bash, bash, easy. No, it's because internally within myself, within my own paradigm, within my own state of consciousness, I have changed as an individual to allow the universe to give me this materialistic thing. You really need to understand and take on what I'm saying, because if you don't, you'll always be chasing things from an effect to an effect. So what that means is you're always going to be saying, oh, in order for me to make more money, which is an effect, I need to wake up earlier, which is also an effect. But in order for you to do that, you need to first look at the cause. How should I think? What should I do? What frequency should I live on? What vibrations should I receive from the universe? What type of relationship with my God do I need to have in order for me to make this work and actually for me to reap the results and benefits benefits and rewards of the lifestyle that I am actually seeking after. It's deeper than you just saying, oh, I just want to make peace, bro, I want to make money. No, bro. In order for you to do that and have that external reality, what are you doing internally first to acquire that type of lifestyle? Money without wisdom is rented riches, bro. You really need to understand what I'm saying. If you don't acquire the wisdom to be able to sustain a certain type of lifestyle, you will always naturally revert back to a lower state of consciousness and or vibration, because you can't sustain that level of where you was at, because you have not rewired your internal brain. You're not rewired your kind of internal state of consciousness or paradigm, you could say, to actually adapt to the current lifestyle that you have. For example, me right now running a business that does multi-five figures in revenue per month and also profit per month. I have to move different because my belief system has had to change. My nervous system has had to change. Where when I was making, for example, £1,500 a month in the first 4 months of me living in Thailand, if I had had 3 clients paying me £500 and one of them decided to quit and stop working with me, my nervous system would have been fractured. I would have been broken. It would have been very fragile, and I would have been like, oh no, I would have been panicking so much so. Do you know what I'm trying to say? But it's just like the energy that I would have been putting out at that stage of my life is literally rejecting the outcome that I'm complaining about anyway. So it's like, oh, I'm complaining that I don't have that I've just lost a client, and because I'm making it into a big deal and putting so much energy and focus into it, I'm just guaranteeing to the universe that this client's never going to come back because I'm responding in such a way. Now, taking sales calls or creating an online offer like I have with my online business, right? And we're on calls with people, telling them what we do, and people want to join us. For that, for example, when I'm selling at price points of £4,000 or £5,000 and I'm cash collecting all of that money on a call, not that I don't flinch. Of course, I'm like, yeah, I've made a sale, so I feel good about it, but like, it's not the end of the world. Or alternatively, if that same person leaves or decides not to go ahead with it, or says that, you know what, it's not for me right now, I'm not going to panic. Even though I'm dealing with an increase of actual money, the sum of money has changed and got greater, you would probably assume, why is he not bugging out? Why is he not going crazy? That's because my inner state has changed. And I already understand that in life, the universe says that you only get more of what you already have. So for me to be grateful and for me to not really flinch, for example, and be, as soon as I don't close a call with a potential client, I'm already showing to the universe that I'm grateful because I already have a lot of clients. So therefore, that's going to tell the universe that more clients are going to come my way anyways, rather than me solely focusing and being anxious, oh, because I didn't close this one client. What is that saying to the universe? That I'm operating from a lack of mentality. That there is wisdom. So when you look at these people who are making more money than you or are living a lifestyle that you aspire to have, stop looking at the tip of the iceberg and saying, oh, Ty Velli just went to Portugal and he was in Brazil before, You should be asking yourself, I wonder what level of consciousness and beliefs this person holds that enables them to have that type of lifestyle and maintain that type of lifestyle. Anyone, for example, in relation to me and my life, anybody can hop on, a Ryanair jet, a Ryanair plane or an EasyJet and go to Lisbon tomorrow. Like, I'm in Lisbon right now. It's not really a big deal. But not many people are able to sustain a remote entrepreneur lifestyle and have complete location freedom whilst month on month increasing the amount of income that they're making. That is what happens when you have a certain paradigm that you live within. You think a certain type of way and you have a certain belief system that allows you to maintain that, as I've been doing for the past 8 or 9 months now, right? Coming up to a year. So my first point I want to put over to you and portray to you guys is that money without wisdom is rented riches. In order for you to increase the amount of money that you're making, you need to first acquire and then act upon the new knowledge that you have. For example, I follow a religion which is called Ifa, and in my religion it talks about we have one main god which is called Oludumare, right? He is the Almighty God, and we have different Orisha, which are like spiritual guides, spirit guides or priests, you could say, who Oludumare sends down to the physical realm of human world to be able to help and guide humans when they're on their journey. So me knowing that, I'm now starting to tap into that energy, right? That God energy. I really understand that I don't need to walk with fear. I don't need to walk in doubt, and I understand that every single thing that happens in my life is happening for a reason, because the higher powers that be are dictating my life, because my destiny is already set out for me. I'm not trying to keep talking in tongues and make things mad like complex for you guys, but genuinely this is a serious conversation, so I want to give it the actual type of energy that it deserves, and I want you to understand what I'm saying. And what I'm really trying to convey to you guys is that you need to align your beliefs to the actual outcome that you seek to have. For me to be able to run a successful online business and manage a team with my business partner at 23 years old whilst traveling the world, I need to be tapped into a higher power. Even though I am strong and mighty and confident in all these things, I need to tap into the strength of a higher source, which is why I've now really tapped into a religion. And I feel like for someone who, you for example, might be looking to make money online, whether that could be getting 5k online through social media or through copywriting or through online sales, whatever it could be, how are you setting up your belief system to actually give you the production capability to produce the result that you want? My business partner told me me something last week that's really stuck with me every day, and it's like production to production capability, which means so many people look at things again from the physical realm, and they look at, oh, I want to be able to have this lifestyle, I want to be able to do this thing, I want to be able to go and da-da-da-da-da, but they don't actually sit down, reflect, and ask themselves, do I have the production capability that is actually able to produce the result that I want? Rather than looking at the tip of the iceberg, do I have the bottom of the iceberg that allows it to become the tip of the iceberg anyway? So for me, if I want to be able to scale my business, which I'm going to 100k months, right, at 80% profit margin, right, do I have a team that is actually able to produce work and leverage at 100k per month? Do I have a 100k per month team? Do I have a 100k per month mentality? Am I vibrating on a 100k per month frequency in order for me to actually attract that lifestyle anyway? What would that version of myself that's making 100k per month, what would he do? How would he think? How would he walk? How would he talk? And I need to acquire that production capability now in order for me to then reverse engineer the result that I'm looking for. So for you want to make money online and you're sick of working in your 9-to-5 job. What have you done? Who are you rubbing shoulders with? What networks have you joined? What courses have you taken? Even if they're free, we're not going to get into the whole course situation. Even if they're free courses, bro, even if it's a free 3-hour course from someone you watch on YouTube, even if it's a book that you read, even if it's that you're starting to go to the library 2 times on a weekend, even if it's you're going to stop smoking weed and start getting into the gym and start building up better habits, what is your production capability, and how is that dictating the actual production that you're seeking to achieve? Is it realistic? Usain Bolt could never win a 100-meter race if he's wearing Timberland boots, right? Because if he did, he wouldn't have the production capability capable of allowing him to get the production, which would be him being the fastest man in the world. I would not be able to scale my business. Me and my business partner literally rented this office space, right? I would never be able to put down 3k up front in a fucking room, in a white room with a desk, laptop and chairs, if I didn't understand that this was conducive to me being able to scale my business to get to 100k per month. And also if I hadn't already changed my belief system beforehand and the way I think around money. So you need to understand that money without wisdom is nothing but rented riches. Let me give you an example of exactly what happens when you increase your lifestyle but you don't actually do the inner work needed. Back in February in our business, we was able to close 2 clients in a single day, and we cash collected £8,000 British in one single day. You know how I felt after making £8,000 in a single day? I was actually very angry at myself. And what I didn't understand at the time was, because I hadn't done the inner work, as my lifestyle was upgrading before my eyes, right? Because I used to make £2,000, right, after tax every single month from my old job, right? Working 40 hours a week, which is 160 hours in a month of my life energy. And in 1 hour compared to 160 hours, I'd been able to make 4 times that amount. To me was like mind-boggling. Like, surely I'm living on Jupiter. It doesn't make sense. Because my lifestyle had increased or improved, but I hadn't yet done the inner work, I wasn't vibrating at a frequency of someone who was able to make £8,000 British in a day. I wasn't at that time, which was 7 months ago. Not 7 months ago, 5 months ago now, February 2025. I was angry for that whole day. That whole day, I was pissed off at myself. I was being rude to other people around me, and I was being very low vibrational, because what I was doing is my brain was trying to self-sabotage itself, because I didn't feel like I was the one who was believing and or worthy of acquiring £8,000, because I thought that was a lot of money at the time. Making £8,000 in a day when your frequency is set at, makes around 5k a month, for example, back then 7k a month, for example, a month, and then you do 8k in a day, of course it's going to be a shock to the system. And because I hadn't done the internal work on myself, right, and I didn't do the internal work on myself and didn't raise my value, and I didn't genuinely believe that I was worthy of that, I did everything in my power to try and rid myself from it. Overspending, doing things that would be detrimental to the business at the time, not believing that I could deliver a result for the clients that I just acquired, all of this stuff because I didn't believe I was worthy of the £8,000 that I just got. And that is exactly because my nervous system was not calibrated for abundance. I didn't believe within myself that I was capable of doing such a thing. So when I did it, I was like, oh my God, there has to be a disparity. This can't be real. What's going on? So I did everything to rid myself of that I just basically accomplished for myself. When you upgrade your lifestyle too quickly, you actually build and upgrade your ego, but not your capacity. And what that means is that you're just inflating your ego. So because, for example, let's go back off this example, me making £8,000 in a day. I could have been like, yeah, I'm the man, I'm better than other people because I've just made £8,000 in 24 hours. But then because I'm building my ego, I'm not focused on building the capacity, aka the actual mental belief system that would allow me to sustain making £8,000 a day. Does that make sense? So by me doing this one action, my ego's increased. I'm feeling like the man. I'm feeling like I'm capable of it all. I'm feeling on top of the world. But in terms of, like I said a few moments ago about production capability, it was not there. I wasn't able to sustain doing the £8,000 a day at that time because of the fact that I didn't really feel like I believed to have that certain outcome. Let's just go straight back onto my point. Money without wisdom is rented riches, bro. How this can look for someone else who's just starting out or is, looking to get into an online income is that you could have just quit your 9 to 5, bro. You could have just finished working for a 9 to 5 job, so you're officially like self-employed, entrepreneur and all that good stuff, right? So you're not going to work, you're waking up at 11 a.m. Despite you being able to quit your 9 to 5, which you thought giving you a lot of stress and anxiety and is the reason why you wanted to leave in aid of getting a better life, now you feel even more anxious. Now you feel even more stressed because you don't have any active income coming in. And that's because your paradigm's not changed. That's because you haven't acquired the wisdom to understand how to sustain the new lifestyle you're stepping into. You're doing it from a third dimensional level. You're looking at the physical realm. You're looking at, okay, cool. If I just quit my job and then I just, go and message these people or I try to get a few leads, I'll be all right. But you haven't done the inner work to change yourself as a person, to understand the actual blueprint that you need to make this lifestyle that you've now acquired work. So look at me. I always look inward again, right? I've had to change a lot and do a lot of internal work, right? And self-development. I know that's a bit of a wishy-washy term, but I've had to do a lot of inner work, let's just say, for me to be able to get this far. Second year into business, like I said before, got complete location freedom. I can pick up and go wherever I choose. I'm able to work and, make more money in every single country that I visit. This has taken a lot for me to get here. And it's taken a lot of inner work for me to actually increase my state of consciousness and my vibration to get to a point where I'm worthy of being this person who lives this lifestyle. Because I could have really done this, it might not have necessarily taken me that long to be able to have location freedom, but it's taken me the amount of time that it's had, which is almost 2 years now, because those 2 years is not really I haven't really been living on the physical plane. I haven't been like, I've just been making more money. Forget that, because as I've said before, money is a lagging indicator. What I have been doing over these past 2 years, right, is actually doing the inner work to change my frequency, my belief system around money, around wealth, around my desires, around my discipline, to become a person who's worthy to have the production capability to produce this said result. For me to be able to pick up and move wherever I want, what type of person do you think I've had to become? What type of thoughts, beliefs do you think I've had to acquire in order to allow me to sustain and maintain this lifestyle that I've had now for the second year coming? You need to think about these things rather than looking at people from the tip of the iceberg. Oh yeah, this brother looks like he's winning on Instagram. What does that mean? One thing I will say to you about money, right? And I don't want to make this video about money from a physical perspective. I'm not going to talk about, oh, look at me, I'm making this, or what you should be making. Forget all of that. Money just simply amplifies and magnifies who you already are. I used to be an angry person who was very sometimes short-sighted and impulsive. So as soon as I started to make money when I was in Thailand and I'm making 3K a month in my own online business, for example, how do you think that I was? It just amplified the dickhead that I was at the time. It just amplified the fact that I was impatient. Money just amplified the fact that I, didn't want to listen to anyone. Money just amplified my ego. Money just magnifies and amplifies who you already are, because money is one of the easiest things in the world to track someone's quote-unquote progression in life, because money is a quantifiable metric. We can just see money and gauge it by numbers. Oh, he's doing 6K, he's doing 9.5, whatever. If you are not doing the inner work yourself, the money is not going to change you, and I guarantee the money is not going to last, right? You might have a good month and do 10K in a month, and then have a bad month and do 3K, but you're not going to change as a person. It's just going to magnify the person that you already are. So ask yourself, what version of yourself do you actually want to be making the money that you want to be making? You could say that you want to quit your job and you just want to make 5K. 5K is enough for you to just travel, live the life of your dreams. You don't want to build an online business because there's a lot of things that come with that. You just want to get like an online sales role or something, which is perfectly fine and doable and achievable. If you do that, what version of yourself actually is worthy of sitting in that seat? It's probably not the version of yourself that you are now watching my video. Genuinely, bro. It's probably not. Because I thought that the version of myself that I was when I was quote unquote wage value, when I was working my 9 to 5 job before, I felt like everything that I knew and who I was then at that stage of my life was the same person that would be sitting here. But like me and that person are basically strangers, bro. I've done so much inner work, which maybe you might not be able to see on the external, but internally, like I'm the one doing it, so I know what it's taken for me to get here. And I know that the version of myself that I was would never have even qualified to get even a 10% of the stuff that I have now. Not even from a physical perspective up here. Wisdom, patience, my relationship with God and all these other things. You have to change as a person and ask yourself, what version of yourself is the person that is actually worthy and deserving of, bearing the fruits of your labor? Because chances are the version of yourself right now, the one that is given into lust, the one that is undisciplined, the one that envies other people for success but still claims that they want the success that they see that other people have gotten ahead before them. That is not the version of you that's actually going to get the things that you want, bro. So you should really sit down and reflect, what version of me do I need to move into in order to acquire the results of said person. The results of what I actually want to do and how I want to live in my life, bro. You think that your biggest fear is staying broke and not making money and continuing to work a 9-to-5 job and having a boss, bro. But that's not your biggest fear. Your biggest fear is achieving every single thing, every single financial goal that you would like to set out for yourself, every single part of location freedom or whatever you want, be it to be able to own your time and make whatever money that you want. Still not having purpose in life, still not having a relationship with God, still not in tune with his mission and what he's actually been brought here on this earth to do and or achieve. It's bigger than you, bro. So my single point to you is, you think that your biggest fear is on the physical plane. You think it's you being broke and not having money, but your biggest fear should be not acquiring knowledge and acting on that knowledge that's going to actually help you to change your life. Your biggest fear should be not even being congruent and actually being in line with the person that you claim you are and the person you claim to be. That should be your biggest fear, bro. Your biggest fear should be not aligning yourself to the laws of the universe because you think like your personal laws are going to outweigh the laws of the universe. That should be your biggest fear, bro. If you're someone who's looking to make money online and you want to be able to travel and own your time, here's what wisdom actually looks like in this game. And this is coming from someone who's been in the game for the past 2 years. Firstly, being in this game with wisdom means that you understand when to say no to money. Not all money is good money. I've had so many opportunities of people wanting to join my program or people giving me these, get rich quick schemes or yo bro, let's collab and do this, and I just decline it all because not all clients are good clients and not all people are good people to work with and rub shoulders with, and not all money is good money. Until you understand that money gets printed every single day, until you understand that money is abundant, and until you understand that the laws of the universe are final and there's no bending the rules of the universe, right? You need to align and adapt your life to the laws of the universe for you to understand how this game actually works of life, not just about money and online money. Until you understand that, you're never going to be able to grow. Not all money is good money, so you should understand that. Number two, the second thing that I want to pass on to you is that you should invest into guidance before materialistic things like watches and cars and all that bullshit. Like, you can if you want to, but I feel like, and I understand what I receive from the universe, that you're watching my video, bro, for a reason, bro, because to some extent you understand and you're on the same similar frequency as me. I am someone who, no matter how much money I'm making, right, or how much money I've made or any of that, whatever, right, because remember that only exists on the physical plane. Money doesn't mean anything, it's literally paper. I will never change. I will change who I am as a person to operate at a higher frequency, but I will never revert back to being someone who is shallow. And I'm not someone who likes to, flex materialistic items or look at me like I've got a design or whatever. If that's what you want to do to enjoy yourself, do what you want to do. But I'm saying that you should look at things that are going to give you an actual ROI. There's a video that I made a few months ago, which is like, I paid 12k for a Discord. Am I cooked or something like that? Can't remember. And I spoke about how me and my business partner put 5 figures literally into an online coach, right? So they could coach us. Because that, me investing into myself and paying money to acquire another level of knowledge has been able to help progress me at such a faster rate. I could have put that same 12k into renting a car, a business class flight, or some other thing that I could have just posted on Instagram to make me look like I'm the man. But my point simply is, right, invest in knowledge, invest in guidance, right? There's always going to be someone that's 2 steps ahead of you, always. No matter who you are, what you do, how many years you've got in the game, whatever skin you got in the game, whatever your unique experience is, there's always someone who's doing more than you that you can learn from. And you should invest your time and your money into that, rather than things that are not really going to give you the return on investment other than just, stroking your ego and making you look the part, right? Be the part. You don't need to look like shit. The third rule of wisdom that I can give you today is you need to build a nervous system that can handle the success that you want and not fantasize about the success that you want. So what do I mean by that? Like I gave the example in this video about how, when I made 8k in a day, I was angry at myself and how I didn't feel like I was worthy of that. That's because I hadn't built the nervous system. I wasn't ready for what feelings would come on the back of me achieving this financial result. So you need to ask yourself, the success that you actually want. You want to get to 10k months. You want to close a sales call at 5k PIF so you can take your commission, or if that's your own offer, whatever it could be, right? Can you actually handle that? Like, genuinely, like, do you feel like you'd actually be able to maintain composure, still think with an abundant mindset if you was able to acquire that physical, tangible thing that you keep asking the universe for? Because 90% of the time, you're probably not actually ready or as ready as you think. Everyone looks at things from an external perspective and says, yeah, I want to make money. I want to make more peas, bro. I want to da. But are you ready for what comes with that? From an emotional perspective, from an energetic perspective. Stop fantasizing about the life that you want and engineer it. Do you have the actual nervous system? Do you actually have the capacity to deal with that success that you're asking for? Because I was like, yeah, I want to make peas, bro. And then when I made 8K in a day, like I said to you before, moving like someone punched me in the face. Like I was angry because I didn't have the nervous system which was wired to actually maintain. I wasn't ready for that. So ask yourself, are you ready for the success that you want? From a nervous system perspective, from an energetic, from a consciousness perspective, are you ready for it, bro? So I wanted to make this video just to help you understand that you don't need more money, bro. You don't need more income. You need to become the person who's ready to hold it when it shows up. You don't need to say, oh, I want to make 5K. You need to be able to actually become the person who's worthy of making the 5K, and then you're going to make 10. So I hope you got a lot of wisdom from this video, and if you did, DM me on IG, let me know how this video helped, and if you want to see more videos of this kind, see you in the next one, man. Let's go.